Hi, this is Richard Blade, and you're listening to the Blue Zone Podcast Network as it presents Permanent Record, an in-depth look at the classic albums of the 70s and 80s, albums which have earned a permanent place of honor, both in our hearts and in our record collections.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 161, which is exciting because this is the end of season one of the podcast. When we decided to agree, or when we decided to do this podcast, Sarah, if you recall, we committed to doing one season of 161 regular episodes with 12 additional mini episodes.
Oh.
And this is it. We finally reached the end of season one.
All right. Gee, I don't remember that discussion, but sure, I'll take your word for it. Here we are at the end of season one.
So we are excited to wrap this up, and then we're going to move into season two.
Okay.
With an exciting topic in the next episode. We're not going to say yet what it is.
Okay.
But it's great. We're here wrapping up both the first season and the Thompson Twins Quick Step and Sidekick.
Yes, we are finally going to finish our discussion on this album that has been going on for quite some time. Hopefully you've been enjoying it. Hopefully you've also been patiently waiting for it and not getting too upset with us as we take our time getting to this point.
We can't rush it, Sarah.
No.
We cannot rush a discussion on Tom Bailey, Alana Curry, and Joe Lee Way's epic 1983 album, Quick Step and Sidekick, if you're in the UK. Here in the US, we were given an album called Sidekicks, as we talked about in the first episode.
Yes, with a slightly different track listing. So if you've been listening along, of course, you're hearing some of the things in a different order. Maybe if you're from the UK, you're like, why are they talking about this song now? Yeah, it's because we were doing the US version, but hopefully you figured that out by now.
So since the last time we all were together, we got to see Culture Club, Howard Jones, and Berlin in concert.
Yes.
I think in our last episode, we mentioned that we were doing that the next day.
Right.
So we did attend that concert, and I thought it was amazing.
It was an excellent show. All three acts were very, very good.
I had a great time. I wasn't really excited about Berlin, but I was very impressed by their performance, and Terry Nunn won me over.
Yeah.
She put on a great show. That bald dude who played guitar for Berlin, I don't know if he's an original member or not, but I thought he was fun to watch.
Oh, he was. He was really, really getting into it.
So I had a really enjoyable time listening to them. I didn't want to hear You Take My Breath Away, or Take My Breath Away, I guess it's called. It's not a song I've ever really enjoyed, but I enjoyed the performance because she just went way far out into the audience.
Right.
It was all over the venue, just singing it from different locations.
Yeah, so that was just very entertaining to watch as she made her way through the crowd singing that song. It made it a lot more enjoyable and exciting to watch, a slow ballad that you've heard a million times before.
And Howard Jones is always fantastic. He did not all the hits you'd want to hear, because I didn't get to hear The Prisoner.
I know.
Which is, it's up there for me with my favorite tracks by Hojo. But he did all the main hits that people here in the U.S. would think he would do.
Yep. And people were very, very excited when he revealed that the bass player next to him was Nick Beggs of Kajagoogoo, and therefore they decided to do Too Shy.
That's right. They did. And that was a cool performance.
Yes. And everyone went wild. We'd seen that before. We were very lucky enough to see that last year in concert and already knew how fun that was. And that crowd, they went crazy. It was really, really fun.
And he did the single, or one of the singles from his latest album, Celebrate It Together.
Yes, and that's such a good song.
That's an amazing track. It really holds up well with the old songs.
Yeah.
So that was cool to hear.
Yes.
And then, of course, George O'Dowd, Mikey Craig, and Roy Hay took the stage, Culture Club.
Right.
Put on a heck of a show. I saw some reviews that said the opening two acts did a better job at being enjoyable in terms of the theme of letting it go and celebrating nostalgia. Culture Club came out and did 5 or 6 new songs that aren't on an album. And so last summer we heard 5 or 6 new tracks. Mm-hmm. This summer we heard 5 or 6 new tracks with only one being duplicated.
Right.
So they have a whole album of new songs ready to go. They need to release that album. I'm itching to hear this new material.
Yeah, it's sort of like another band we saw in concert this year who has a bunch of new songs ready for an album. And we're impatiently waiting for that as well.
Yeah, Robert Smith, we're looking at you.
Yeah, Mr. Smith.
So I had a great time listening to Boy George. I know if you went to just have a good time and drink beer and party, you probably wanted to hear more of the old songs, but I'm always excited to hear new material from the guys in Culture Club. So I enjoyed almost all those songs. I think we heard 5 songs, and I really enjoyed 4 of them a lot.
Okay.
There was only one that I wasn't a huge fan of.
Yeah. Well, that's a pretty good ratio, honestly. And yeah, I agree. It's always fun to see, because we've seen them in concert so many times now, and we love all the hits, but it's awesome that they can produce new music that we enjoy and that sounds just as good when it's up against the hits.
Yeah, if you haven't heard their last album, Life, I would really recommend giving it a listen if you've got a streaming account somewhere. There's a lot of great tracks on there.
Go get a life.
Yeah, and next time you tour Culture Club, bring back Gusto Blusto. I want to hear that song. I bet your Culture Club has never done Gusto Blusto live.
I'll bet that's probably true.
Because it was a single from Luxury to Heartache. It didn't even make the top 100. And the tour for From Luxury to Heartache was canceled because of George's problems. So they never toured it, and I bet there's never been any reason to do that song live, but I want to hear it.
Okay. So we've got some requests out there. Mr. Smith, finish your album. Mr. O'Dowd, play Gusto Blusto live.
Yes, and release your album.
And release your album too, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Our demands have been made now.
All right, so now that we're done issuing demands, we are going to get into the last 2 songs of Quick Step and Sidekick.
We are indeed.
So we're up to song number 9, and here in the U.S., the song that was the 9th track of the album was one that I really, really like.
Okay.
And it's called Judy Do.
Standing alone on a stage, star of the show, she's all the rage. It's sad to say, made her pay. They set her up, shot her down. Yeah, Judy laughed, Judy cried.
All right, so there you have it, Judy Do. So I got to tell you, before I started doing research on this song, I thought maybe this song was about Judy from the old Punch and Judy shows.
Aren't those puppet shows?
Yeah, they are. But I don't know why. I just had it in my head. Oh, maybe this is about Judy from Punch and Judy. Yeah.
I didn't think it was about anyone in particular. I thought it was just sort of like a play on the phrase do or die, because it's Judy Do or Judy Die. So, do or die. Mm-hmm. Human League has a song called Do or Die. That's great. And I was just like, oh, I guess it's just sort of playing off that phrase. Judy can either do or she can die.
Oh, wow. I think the choice of do is better. But yeah, so then as I was doing my research, I found a couple of references that said the song was about Judy Garland, the famous singer, actress. Yeah, the first one was, I think in the All Music review, actually, that fellow referenced this song as being about Judy Garland. And then in the Music and Meaning, the RBHX Jukebox blog.
RBHS.
Oh, sorry. Yes. RBHS Jukebox.
Which is a blog that we've been featuring on these shows quite a bit, because one of the few people online who have taken the time to write about this album.
Right.
More people should do it.
I agree, because we need to use your notes.
Yes.
Yeah. So I assume you have the same notes from that website as I do. And he says, Judy Do is an ode to the late Judy Garland, a reflection on the pressures of stardom. Curry and Bailey weave their voices together in a tight lament while the music drones on like a manic music box. The effort is lovingly crafted and manages to be both menacing and sympathetic. Interesting.
That last sentence is very astute. Once you know the meaning of the song, the menacing quality of it is a little more noticeable to me. I guess it's always been there because I'm looking at it as a song about either do or die. So being threatened with death is kind of menacing.
Yeah.
But once I learned this background on the track, it just came to the forefront more for me.
I can understand that as well, too, now knowing what it's about. But being the kind of thorough people we are with our research, right? We both discovered that this was about Judy Garland, but it was only references, by these reviewers, these people that really didn't have anything to do with the record. And I think, oh, that's great. That's, good to know, but prove it to me. I need proof. I want to make sure that they're coming from some kind of a source, Mm-hmm. I don't want to just say this. Oh, cause on the internet, there's all kinds of stuff on the internet. How do you know if it's true? Took me a long time, but I finally found something that basically confirmed this statement that it is about Judy Garland.
Interesting.
Yes, and it was an actual interview with Phil Thornley, who was the engineer on this album, right?
Great guy. He shows up at so many places over the years in pop music. He's never, had the spotlight on him. I guess he was one of the main guys in Johnny Hates Jazz.
Okay.
But, he played with The Cure.
Yeah.
He wrote with Natalie Imbruglia.
Natalie Imbruglia.
In the 90s. And he was, I think, what did we say, the engineer of this album?
Yes. So they did an interview with him for Song Facts, and it actually covers all those things that you mentioned and more, and got into some really interesting topics of discussion, one of which was about when he were recording pornography. They used a sample of a debate on pornography between Graham Chapman and Jermaine Greer. And they're talking about that sample and how they actually came upon it very, very randomly. It was just on the radio or TV, and it was just perfect because the song was pornography. Phil says, that happened one other time too, in a Thompson Twins song where we did the same thing. But this time we turned the radio on. He says the song was Judy Do, and it was about Judy Garland.
The knowledge that you had gained has just been verified by somebody in the know.
Yes, finally, I've got confirmation. He says, it was about Judy Garland. Okay, great. And he says, we thought, let's do something weird in the middle of this song. Just set up the radio and let's just tune it in. And we tuned it in, and it was Judy Garland singing. He says, like you say now, you'd go, okay, we're doing a song about Judy Garland. Let's just go on YouTube. But obviously it wouldn't be as much of a coincidence, but it was just one of those freaky things. Yeah, back then, what are the odds that you're going to just turn on the radio at the moment that you're talking about Judy Garland and then you hear Judy Garland on the radio?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, especially in the 80s, right? Maybe in the 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever. But in the 80s, that was just crazy.
So once you read that, I guess, did you just go listen to the middle of the song and hear the little snippet of Judy Garland that was incorporated into the track?
Well, I went to the song. I went back to the song and I listened in the middle and I didn't hear anything. I'm like, I don't hear this. And there's all kinds of other stuff going on in this song. I did not hear anything in the middle of the song that sounded like a sampled Judy Garland song. I'm like, those vocals aren't hers. That's not her.
That sounds like Joe to me.
Really? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I listened really carefully several times. I thought, well, maybe this is just something that got skipped. He says they recorded it and maybe it didn't make the final edit. Well, then I decided to listen again, and I listened through the whole song to the very, very end. And after everything else had stopped, I realized that I did hear a voice singing. And I said, I think it's singing Au revoir. And it's just very short. It's 2 notes. And it's at the very, very, very end of the song.
Does it sound like this?
It does. Au revoir. Yes, that's what it was. So Phil threw me off when he said it was in the middle of the song because it was not. But if you go listen to it, I think the song is 3 minutes, 47 seconds long. And it's pretty much at the very end, 346, 347. It's just popped right in there.
Yeah, that is the last thing you hear. The clip that I just played had a lot of static behind it because I amplified it 4 times, then 4 times again, then 4 times again to get it as loud as it was right there.
Yeah.
So it also amplifies that hiss, the background hiss. Yeah, I'd never heard this in all the years of listening to this album, and I've been listening to it for years because this is one that I do break out every month or so. I've never turned my back completely on the Thompson Twins, and I have never noticed that. Au revoir.
Yeah, it took some effort, I gotta say. Once I knew it was supposedly there, I was like, all right, I'm gonna find it. Because if I don't find it, someone else will find it and tell us. And I mean, that's all very cool. And I love when people do help us out like that. But I thought we have an obligation to find this ourselves. So,
especially with this being the end of our first season.
Right.
We want to go out on a high note, really impressing people with our journalistic skills.
Yeah. So there you have it. We've solved 2 mysteries, right? First mystery, is this song truly about Judy Garland? Apparently, yes. And 2, where is this mystery sample that Phil Thornley mentions? It's at the very end of the song, unlike what he says. But, we'll give him credit for at least referencing it, because how many things has he worked on in his career?
Yeah, a lot of years have gone by. A lot of water under the bridge, as they say. So at least he remembered it was in there somewhere.
Yeah. So that was a cool story.
Especially since it's only a second and a half.
Seriously, yeah. It's pretty good that he remembered that.
So one of my favorite publications is Classic Pop Magazine.
Yes.
I often sing their praises and I subscribe digitally. The one thing I do digitally, the one thing I've entered the 21st century for.
Yeah.
I subscribe to that magazine. But very disappointed in them.
Uh-oh.
In their comments on this song. They gave it just one independent clause of a sentence, and they're not very complimentary. Classic Pop Magazine says about the song Judy Do, "Love Lies Bleeding may sound primitive, even ungainly, and Judy Do derivative. But on Quickstep, the Twins found their stride, earning a British platinum album in the process." So I'm like, if you are going to be going on record saying a song is derivative, I think you're obligated to tell me what you think it's derivative of. Yeah, I'm very unhappy with them because, in my opinion, Judy Do is an absolute highlight of this album, which makes its placement on the track listing for any of the releases problematic. Because we're covering this doing the US track listing, which is what I grew up listening to, and I have this attachment to it. But I will say that placing this song at track number 9 is a shame, because you're burying it at the end of the album. You know, a lot of people, by the time you get to track 7 or 8, they've kind of checked out. And this is one that deserves to have a spotlight shown on it. However, in the UK, they only placed it at song number 4, which is a little too late in the running order of the first album, in my opinion. This should definitely be either a track 2, following up Love on Your Side with something that's almost as strong as that single, or put this at track 6 to reward the listener for getting up and turning over their record. This is a much better track 6 than Watching. So this is a fantastic track that is just kind of undermined by the structure of the album.
Well, that is a very interesting assessment, and I'm very scared to tell you what I think.
Go ahead and lay it on me.
Yeah.
I'm on the last show of the season. If you're going to go and become an anti-Judy Doist, I'm prepared to just walk away from them.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I'll just walk away at the end of the first season.
Okay. All right. My thoughts on this song. Honestly, I think this sounds like one of the simpler songs on the album. There's a lot of things I don't like about it. I have a note here that I think this is one of the weakest songs on the album.
Wow, disagree bigly.
I
disagree bigly over here on this side of the table.
Yeah, I know. And it took me many listens to come around to it as much as I have at this point. I don't know. It seems, like I said, it seems simpler. I don't like Alana's backing vocals that occur in most of the song, the spoken word stuff.
I think she sounds amazing.
She does that in other songs, and I don't mind it as much. And here it just, I don't know, it's off kilter, it's off putting. I think that's probably intentional. I think that is part of the effect that they're trying to provide here, because it's, again, we're talking about the career of a woman who was very manipulated and just a really rough life. So I get that they're trying to create tension and stuff. I don't like how it sounds. I don't like how it feels. I do like the da-da, oh, I love those. They're very catchy. That's my favorite part of the song. The end of the song, though, is just, it's more chaotic than other songs on this album. All those vocal layers, again, that might be intentional because of the subject matter of the song, and they're trying to create this chaos and, you know, disorder and disharmony. They're
kind of doing what they do on Kamikaze, where they continue singing the chorus with just like another vocal line over top of it.
Yeah, but there's more than one other vocal line. There's a lot of different vocals going on in that.
Are we getting Joe's
sections?
Little wordless
riff
too?
I don't really remember at this point how many different layers there were, but when I was listening carefully again, because I was listening for that sample, I was like, wow, there's really a lot going on here. But it was all vocals. It wasn't, you know, to me, this song, do you agree that there aren't as many little sounds in here as there are in other songs on this album?
No, I don't agree with that.
Okay.
To me, the music of this track is really, really cool. The drums, the fills, the cool drum patterns, they all sound amazing to me. The thing that I really, really enjoy is that big fat synth that comes in right before and during the chorus. It's not during the verses, but it's right before the chorus, and it just fills your ears with such a heavy sound. And to reference the Human League again, it reminds me of like pre Don't You Want Me era Human League. It's just a great early 80s synth noise. And the thing that I like, the thing that you're criticizing it for, is something that I really like. The fact that this song has a spotlight moment for each band member. This has the most communal feeling of anything on the record. And I like at the end when all three have their parts combined. Tom is singing lead. He's singing the chorus at the end. Alana is adding some great harmonies and breathy accents throughout the song before shining at the end with a bunch of sung commands to Judy. And then Joe provides that catchy vocal riff that doesn't feature words, but completely gets stuck in your head. All three of those overlap at the end, and I think it sounds great.
We're definitely just going to have to agree to disagree on this one. But I will tell you
fair.
that I did find a couple of live performances of this song. I shared at least one of them with you, the one that's from Into the Gap live tour. And I really, really enjoyed that. And I definitely preferred that live performance of the song more than the album version.
Standing alone on stage, the star of the show, she's all the rage. It's sad to say they made her pay. They set her up and shot her down. Yeah, Judy laughed, Judy cried, yeah, Judy died.
I found another one from 1983. It was just audio from Syracuse, New York. And that was also very good. So I don't know if it's just the live versions that I like better because they're doing different things and maybe it just sounds fresher. I don't know. I think something about this one, even though I know like in Tears, that's like a very relentless, similar drum beat the whole way through. And I think
good comparison.
And I went back and listened to that again because I remembered, that's got a very similar drum beat, very, just repetitive. This has a very repetitive drum beat throughout, has some fills, but to me, it just isn't as musically interesting. And I thought, well, do I like Tears better or worse than this? And I said, I like Tears better after I listened to it again.
I like Judy Do better.
Okay.
And that live version from the Into the Gap tour, I've already played the sound sample in the episode just to give people a taste of what it sounds like. It is very different, at least initially. That first verse is quite different. And then the further into the song it gets, the closer it gets to the album version. But if you don't like the end of the song on vinyl or on the album, I'm surprised you like the end of the song on the live version because Alana's in that live version, she seems much more in the spotlight to me.
Yeah, but I think because I can see her doing it and I can understand it better in that context, I don't know, it just worked better for me.
Well, that's a great performance. If you don't have access to the Into the Gap concert, we put a link to the performance in the show notes on YouTube. So check it out. It's really cool.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
One of the things that I always loved about this song was some of these lyrics. And the funny thing is, I didn't have any idea what they were about. But I kind of really dug the line, "There are so few that really fly. Let's put the bright light in her eyes." I think the part that I liked was, "There are so few who really fly." But now, knowing what the song is about, that line goes from seeming kind of simple, just I liked it because of the sound of the words. Now I think, wow, that line says a whole lot. I've been thinking about these lyrics, having learned about the Judy Garland connection. There are so few that really fly. Let's put that bright light in her eyes. It's kind of heartbreaking because I think you can take that to mean, it's admitting that there are so few people who truly have earth-shattering talent. There's a difference between an actor or an actress and a superstar that's not dependent on box office results. I love Rita Hayworth, but Rita Hayworth is not equal to Judy Garland. They both made musicals, and one of them was obviously more talented than the other. We have this, in the song, we have this true talent. And instead of using our spotlight to share her with the world and to illustrate and illuminate her skills, we've decided for whatever reason, we are going to use the spotlight to blind her by shining it directly into her eyes. We aren't helping her. We're hindering her. And over the course of her career, Garland was forced to have abortions. She was forced to take diet pills because her body wasn't the right shape for the studio. She was driven to drink unhealthy amounts. And all these studio heads who reaped the benefits of her work either ignored these problems or caused these problems. If you're going to be honest about it, it's tragic for Garland and idiotic for the studios. And that's now what I think about when I hear those words. After years of just kind of liking the sound of it, I'm getting that from those lines. And it's those studio heads and those people who took advantage of Garland that I think Alana is channeling at the end with her list of commands.
Oh, yeah.
Issued over the repeated chorus, "Laugh, Judy, cry. Come on, Judy, dance with me." And it's ironic and kind of interesting that the woman in the band is taking on this role, because I'll say with 100% confidence without researching it, all the studio heads and agents that did this to Garland were men.
Oh, yeah.
You know that.
Oh, yeah.
From the time
Absolutely.
frame and stuff. It's just cool that Alana Curry is playing that role on album and on stage. And I think she does a great job with it.
Yeah, I definitely understand where you're coming from, and the way she delivers those lines at the end, exactly what you said. And that's why it's uncomfortable, right? Because wow, it's like she's trying to get across this point that, yeah, Judy Garland was just manipulated and just forced into all these things in her life. The line I took from it and wrote a note about was, she opened her eyes, looked at her face. She's not the prize in the paper chase. I just took that because I read that the executives were always trying to manipulate her image. She didn't meet the standards of glamour for leading ladies at the time. So they did things like make her wear caps on her teeth, made her wear rubberized discs in her nose to reshape her nose.
Oh my God.
I mean, just kind of ridiculous things to make her look the way that they thought she should look. And then they were never still very happy with how she looked. You know, they tried to make her look like a vixen. That didn't work. They made her look girl next door. They weren't real happy with that. You know, they didn't seem to know what they wanted to do with her instead of letting her just be herself. Very, very frustrating.
Yeah. If you're someone who is like a good person, you would hear these stories about what they put her through and it would make you uncomfortable. So the fact that the end of this song where Alana's playing that role, the fact that it makes you uncomfortable as you hear it, Sarah, I'm like, well, kudos to the Thompson Twins. They did a good job.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, Alana Curry definitely has strong feelings about the standards of beauty for women and her personal desire not to conform to those standards, you know, her shaving her eyebrows. And,
yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah. So obviously this is a natural subject matter for her to want to write about. I went and looked again for any kind of notes or interviews or anything where Alana Curry might have talked about Judy Garland. Unfortunately, this time, on this search, I found nothing. I was disappointed. I feel like she must have been asked about this at some point. Somebody must have talked to her about it. I would think she would want to talk about it, right? She's, you know, such a strong personality, has all these ideas she wants to get across. And I know she did in the song, but, you know, you think you might want to talk about that more.
So we already mentioned that the song sounds a little different a year and a half down the road when they're doing it live on the Into the Gap tour. My notes to close this section, we're going to reference that. We've already done it. So I'm just going to instead say, just because you were bad-mouthing the song a little bit, I'm going to say I'm ranking this song, if I rank all the tracks on the album,
yeah,
I'm going to put this song at number 4 on the record.
Okay.
I'm putting Judy Do at number 4, Kamikaze at number 3, Love Lies Bleeding at number 2, and Love in Your Side at number 1.
Wow. Okay.
I definitely have this one in the top half of everything offered on the record.
Yeah, this is in the bottom half for me.
All right. And we are left with only one more song, Sarah.
Oh my gosh.
A discussion that started in April is now in August going to wrap up.
Well, how about that?
With song number 10. And this is the final song on both the US and the UK versions.
Yes.
And it's one called All Fall Out.
Yes, I
All Fall Out, a great title for a song with that perfect album closing sound. It's wise that this was selected to wrap up the album, and even wiser that the US did not mess around with that placement and that aspect of the track listing. And this would be the Thompson Twins' best album closer in their entire discography if it wasn't for Who Can Stop the Rain on Into the Gap, which just beats it out by a little tiny bit.
Okay.
I always like to, that's something I like to do. What's the best or top 3 album closers by a group? And so I was doing that for the Thompson Twins today. So this is a very strong one. I put this as their second best album closer.
I definitely agree with you that Who Can Stop the Rain is their best album closer. I don't know that I would put this second. I'm not sure. Yeah, this song is another one that these last 2 songs, I'm sorry. You mentioned people that like kind of lose interest in the album after.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well,
or I just meant generally any album, really.
Yeah.
But you can, you can take it specifically this one.
Yeah. This is another one that's not really connecting with me like other songs on this album did.
You're also losing interest on the album as we approach the end here?
Well, I guess I'm not. Maybe I am losing interest, but I'm losing my great affinity for the songs on the album and, my warm feelings of like enjoyment. So
wow, this is huge.
And I kept trying to think if is that really what's happening here? Am I being too harsh? We've been covering this album for months now. I've listened to it many times since then. like I changed my opinion a little bit on Judy Do, and this one I still can't really embrace as much as you do, for sure, and maybe as much as I should. Yeah. Well, let's hear what you have to say about it some more.
All right. Well, I'm going to start off expressing my thoughts as a reaction to the Music and Meaning, the RBHS Jukebox, their quote about this song. They say, "The album winds down with all fallout, a slow groove that's unremarkable on its own, but works nicely as a graceful exit." So that kind of illustrates or agrees with what I just said, that it's a good closing song. They're going to say it's unremarkable if you remove it from that idea. But here's what I have in response to that. If I rank the songs, this one will feature in the back half of the album for me. However, I would not say that it's unremarkable. It's not nearly as remarkable as many of the other songs, but it's still a very interesting listen, featuring a number of ear-catching sounds and great production. I think this is one of the songs where the production probably does outshine the songwriting, because it just has a great audio quality to it. One thing that I think you can't deny is that the bass of this track gives such a weighty sound to it. The sound of the bass is weightier than probably the song. But you can't ignore the bass work on this track. And the two main synth parts work together to ensure that the song is as in your face as it can be. There's just like two main synth parts that are kind of repeated quite a bit.
Yeah.
But the sounds that they use are quite impressive to me. Do you think it's too long?
I do have a comment about it. Yeah, that it's almost 5.5 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it is a little too long.
Well, to those of you who say it's too long, and your representative here at this table, Sarah, I would say that the atmosphere it creates over the course of those 5.5 minutes is worth letting simmer. And the length is one of the aspects that makes it work so well as a closing track. That mid-song instrumental break is really, really enjoyable. If you want to just take it by itself, take it as a chunk right out of the song and listen to that little instrumental minute in the middle of the song there, all the synth riffs and things.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome. I wouldn't want that to be cut. I wouldn't want it to be edited. Like, let it be as long as it needs to be to give you the atmosphere of this track. And like that, the writer on the RBHS Jukebox says, it's a slow groove. This is not like an earth-shatteringly awesome album closer. This is not an album closer that's going to make you say like, oh, that was like one of the highlights of the album. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that it does provide an atmosphere and like that groove. Like, it is a good groove. It's catchy. It's repetitive. But I think that it sums up a lot of the musical ideas that were expressed throughout the record in other songs. It's a good wrap up of what we've heard.
Okay. Well, I can understand that. And as far as atmosphere, I will definitely agree. This song has a lot of atmosphere. My first comment on that is about the vocals. You know, in several sections of this song, Tom's vocals, he's a lot more shouty than we're used to on this album. It's kind of like he's going back to the previous album. Some of the vocals, though, then he tones down, but they're definitely more shouty than we hear on other songs. I
think that quality, that being more shouty, also makes him a little sloppier with his singing.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't sing this one quite as well as a lot of the other things on
Yeah. And there is a lot of reverb and echo on his vocals and in other parts of this song. And it's not a criticism at all of his vocals. It's just the way that he's delivering the vocals, but that reverb, there's a lot of reverb, a lot of echo, and that gives this song more of an atmosphere, which is good. It reinforces those lyrics about dreaming, right? You kind of get this dreamlike quality. I have a problem with the song because I think that the lyrical content indicates that it should be taken more seriously than something like Watching or We Are Detective. Like these lyrics seem like they're supposed to be more serious than, We Are Detective, right? Mm-hmm. But there are some sounds in here that are just so silly sounding to me that make me not be able to take this song as seriously as I think they want me to. The main thing that does it is those two notes that we hear over and over again. And they're kind of like the notes in Tears, what I call the sad trombone, but that's long and drawn out, Here it's fast and it makes me think of ha ha or nya nya.
What's Nelson on The Simpsons?
Yeah, ha ha, nya nya. And it's like, they do a lot of schoolyard chant kind of things on this album. We talked about that before. Lies, 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 yeah. And then that sad trombone sound. it doesn't work for me here because, again, I think this song is supposed to be more serious. And then we got this, and it takes me out of that atmosphere that they're trying to build. There's a lot of other really interesting little sounds in here. You know, we get a lot of that precision placement of stuff, but what they're using doesn't work for me as well. There's one in here that sounds like a chicken clucking. It's like, but, and it sounds to me like a chicken. And I'm like, this just doesn't work.
Well, it was that chicken that was in the video for watching.
I know, right? He's not.
He was just hanging out in the studio.
Yeah, I hear it. And I'm like, I appreciate that they put it there, but this one, it doesn't work for me. It sounds really weird. And the whole sound of the song is very downward sounding, very descending. There's a lot of descending stuff. The notes, you know, they're bump, bump, bump.
Well, you're falling.
Bump. And I got, yeah. Well, okay, duh. But so that's good, I guess, but that's working. But it just kind of drags me down. So I don't know. It makes the album end on a downward note for me, right? They fall down and fall out. I don't think it's the strongest album closer. I get why they put it last. This is where we all fall out. Yes, that's the end, right? It's the end of a relationship or something. It's definitely the end of the album, but it just doesn't leave a good enough lasting impression with me as I think that this album deserves. You know, this has been such a strong album for me the whole way through. And this song just kind of leaves me like, it doesn't make me want to immediately like go flip the tape or flip the record to start all over again. I'm just kind of like, So that's how I feel.
I'm a little surprised. This is going to go back to something you said about 5 minutes ago. I didn't want to interrupt you too much, though. I'm a little surprised that you feel that this song, maybe you'll have to reiterate what you said, but musically, this is not as in-depth or as serious as the lyric is. You can't take the lyric as seriously as it deserves because of the music.
Yeah.
I was really shocked to hear you say that because these lyrics are so vague to me. I get no meaning from this. I take nothing away from this song. And actually, I consider the lyrics to be kind of meaningless in this song. I look at this more as just a musical experience with a melody line that someone's singing, but I really don't know the words to the song. After all these years, I don't know the lyrics to the song, even though I've heard it hundreds of times. I was unable to sing along with it, and I had to follow along, and I seriously, there were things I was like, oh, I had no clue he said that. But there's so few lyrics to this.
Yeah.
It's a 5.5 minute song.
Right.
And they barely say anything.
Yeah.
There's words here that are like, I touch my hand, I hear her dance, I see you glowing. Like, they're so off kilter and are not words that you would naturally put together.
Yeah.
That I assume that the whole lyric is recounting the experience of a dream. You know, he's going to start saying over and over, I dream in red.
Yeah.
Which then I just sort of got interested in because that's something that you've heard over the years in other songs and other places. I dream in red. And I was like, I wonder what that really means.
Yeah. Did you look that up?
So I did. I spent some time researching what does it mean if you have the color red in your dream? If you wake up from a dream and you said, I dreamt in red. So a very quick search brought up so many different ideas of what this might mean that it makes it difficult to use that as a means to gain insight into the lyrics. I did a Google search. I went to like the first 4 sites, 4 or 5 sites, and came up with a list of things that don't match at all.
Okay.
So according to various sites, which I didn't write down, which one was which, dreaming in red is A, widely understood to stand for intense anger and rage. B, symbolizes great emotional power and energy. C, representative of aggression and danger. D, indicates passion, fire, and romance. And E, kind of similar, synonymous with sexual impulses and urges.
Okay.
So
red can mean like most things.
Yep. If you're feeling anything, there's probably a site that'll say, yeah, that's because you're dreaming in red.
Right. Oh my goodness. So maybe I'm just approaching this all wrong anyway. And maybe this is just another case of lyrics that are words that sound good together. They didn't try to make it sound or try to make it be very meaningful.
That's how I listen to it and how I hear it.
Okay.
This song is just seriously like the experience of winding down the album and us falling out of it back to the real world or leaving the Thompson Twins world as we fall out.
Okay. Ooh.
Now,
I like that idea.
I wanted to give you a little quiz.
Okay.
Going back to the very beginning of this song.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say one note that the first couple seconds of this song, before Tom yells, hey,
yes,
to kick things off, those first couple seconds, could have been on any song on Depeche Mode's Construction Time Again record.
The clanging.
It sounds exactly like Depeche Mode.
I agree. Yes, those clangs. I actually forgot that those were there. I don't know how I missed them before, but when I, again, was re-listening to this for this episode, I'm like, wait, that's how it starts with these clangs? That's like so weird. And then the hey, I only remember the music kicking in. That's really my first memory of how the song started, and the clangs and the hey really confused me. So is there a quiz?
Yeah, the quiz is,
okay.
This is not the only song in the Thompson Twins catalog that kicks off with Tom Bailey yelling, hey.
I know.
What is the other?
I totally know that because I have a note on it. I actually have a comment on it. I said, this is such an unusually sparse intro for this song, just a clanging sound and then a shout from Tom, hey. Since I'm more familiar with Here's to Future Days than this album, that hey immediately put me in mind of their cover of Revolution. And I went back and listened to it and I said, well, in Revolution, Tom is ever so slightly more enthusiastic with his hey than he is on this one. Yeah. Yep. He sounded, hey, this one's hey. So I did notice a difference. It's not like they copied, this one and they used it again in 85, but yeah.
All right. And the other thing I wanted to quiz you on.
Okay.
One of the main things that makes up the sound of this track that gives it that special Thompson Twins tone, and audio quality is a particular instrument that we've spoken about before as we discussed the Thompson Twins.
Yes.
But in case someone has not listened to our Into the Gap episodes, I think we would be remiss not to talk about this very interesting instrument, one that we both enjoy.
Yes.
What is the name of the instrument that gives this song its distinctive sound?
I'm ready for this one too.
All right.
That would be the güiro.
The güiro. I love that instrument.
Yes, you do.
I think it is awesome. And I think I may have said this before in the other episode, but I'll say it again. Anytime I hear that, I just picture someone scraping a drumstick over like a dried out fish bone. Yeah. Like in the cartoon, how cats in cartoons are always eating fish and then just the bones are left.
Yeah.
They're just scraping the stick over that.
Yeah.
And that's what makes the sound in my head.
Yep.
I just took some notes on the güiro to remind us where it comes from.
Yes.
The güiro is a great instrument. It was probably first created in Africa or South America and was originally made from a dried out gourd.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah. So now they're made from wood or fiberglass.
Okay.
But
not nearly as cool.
Nope. But see, the thing is, I couldn't remember what the instrument was called. I knew we talked about it.
Yeah.
And so I always say it sounds like old bones.
Yes.
And so I just Googled instrument that sounds like old bones and it came right up. So I'm not the only one who thinks that.
No.
But I learned that the Aztecs produced an early cousin to the güiro, which was created from a small bone with serrated notches and was played in the same manner. Okay. So that's why it sounds like old dusty bones, because it was originally made.
They actually used a bone.
From bones, man.
Yeah.
The Aztecs, man.
Okay. All right.
So if you haven't already, take the afternoon off work.
Oh, my.
Go to Wikipedia, type in güiro, and over on the right side of it, there's like a 10-second sample of the sound of the güiro without any music.
Okay.
Just hit. Just listen to it all afternoon. Just hit refresh over and over. It's seriously worth taking a day off, or half a day off work.
I think you're giving some bad advice here. I'm not going to agree with that advice, but I will say it's fun to listen to that instrument. Go look it up, Guiro, güiro, and have a good time, but don't.
And tell your boss you can't come into work tomorrow. You listen to a güiro.
It's not worth losing your job over.
Get up early like you're going to work, but just start hitting play on that button.
Oh my gosh. I hope you're not going to do this come Monday.
I'm thinking about it, but I listened to it a lot today. So
all right. You got it out of your system.
Okay, so this is a song that isn't represented much on the internet and probably isn't anyone's favorite Thompson Twins song. However, like I said, All Fall Out performs an important job on the record by giving the listener a sense that care has been taken with the track listing and that things have been wrapped up in an appropriate manner. And I really think Tom knew what he was doing with this slow groove, this descending sound, as he invites us all to fall out and to get back to whatever it is we were doing before we started listening to the Thompson Twins. I think this is a good album closer.
Okay.
All right, so we are going to close things up for good with this album by giving it a final evaluation. But before we do that, we always do an extra credit question.
We do.
Just some other bit of information to discuss about the topic at hand. And we also have a Thompson Twins memory from our friend Ian Monk from the UK that we're going to share.
Woohoo!
And then after that, we'll give you our final scores on the album.
Okay.
We'll see how many people Sarah can disappoint with her score.
Yeah.
All right. So our extra critic question stemmed from me. I had the idea for the question, but I couldn't really justify using it. But then Sarah, brilliant woman that she is, came up with a very good way to incorporate it into the episode. So I'll tell everybody what my topic was, and then you can tell everybody how we justify it. My extra credit question that I wanted to do was I wanted to talk about the Thompson Twins song Nothing in Common from 1986 from the film Nothing in Common.
Grown so far apart. Don't show me faded photographs. Just tell it from the heart. And after all that we've been through, don't you know I feel for you? We've got nothing in common, so much to lose.
That's right.
Totally unrelated to this album.
It is, other than the fact that it is yet another Thompson Twins song. So now, why did I say it was okay? What did I say that would make it appropriate to talk about here? I don't remember. I'm looking at you with a blank and stunned look on my face. I don't remember what I said. What did I say that was so brilliant? I'm embarrassed to have forgotten it.
So what you said was, this is a great opportunity to talk about another Thompson Twins song that was incorporated into a movie, because we talked about probably their first one, and this album, which was If You Were Here, was incorporated into 16 Candles.
Yes.
Then in 1984, Ghostbusters supposedly used In the Name of Love.
Okay.
I haven't seen the movie enough to remember where it is, but I'm sure it's not spotlighted.
Right.
I know it's on the soundtrack. But this was a Thompson Twins release from 3 years later.
Mm-hmm.
And we're covering this because it's another track that was featured in a film. This time, however, the band was much better known.
Oh, yeah.
Coming off hits like Hold Me Now and
Doctor.
Lay Your Hands on Me.
Yep.
Big hits. And they received the honor of recording the film's main theme.
Yes. That's it. That was my brilliant idea. Hey, we already talked about a song that was featured in a movie. Let's talk about another song that was prominently featured in the movie. Yes. Well, that was brilliant.
Kudos to you. So this single was released in the summer, July of 1986. Do you have any recollections of this song being a thing at the time, Sarah?
I'm gonna have to say no.
I'm not surprised, because this song was not a huge hit like I would have preferred it to be, but I do remember it very specifically because I was so obsessed with the Thompson Twins. I remember the day I don't remember the date, but I remember the day that I got the 12-inch single on a trip to the mall with my buddy, the Queen Bee.
Oh, nice.
And I also remember that while we were there, I swung into the record store, We 3 Records, and I picked up the 12-inch for Nothing in Common. And then we went down to JCPenney, where the Queen Bee picked up this amazing double shirt combination that I thought was pretty darn cool, because I was really, really into multiple shirts.
Yes, you were.
I remember one day trying to get out of the house and go to school wearing 3 shirts.
Yeah, can we stop and explain that they were all collared shirts?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's kind of like the interesting part about this, because a lot of people will wear like a t-shirt and then a collared shirt over top of it.
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
But you were wearing collared shirts, one on top of the other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I tried to leave one day with 3 collared shirts on, at which my parents said, like, you're going a little too far with these collared shirts.
Yeah.
But this was a double collared shirt combination that was on the mannequin at the store.
Oh.
This was how it was supposed to be purchased.
Oh, okay.
And I thought that was great. One shirt was black, one shirt was red. It looked so cool. Like, I have no recollection of either the Queen Bee or me being clothes shoppers.
Doesn't surprise me.
I spent all my money on comic books and records, and I did the best with whatever shirts I had.
Yeah.
But for some reason, the Queen Bee was like, I don't know if it's because I told him it was awesome after he's indicated that he had
liked,
sort of an interest in it, but he was like, well, I'm definitely getting that. And I was very jealous that he had those 2 shirts to wear together, because it was a great look. But that was the day I bought this 12-inch single.
Okay. So you had music instead of cool shirts.
Yep.
Okay.
And so this song is noteworthy for being at least 2 firsts. I'm going to mention 2. There might be more. I'm covering my bases by saying at least 2.
All right.
I only have 2. This is the first song released after the departure of Joe Leeway from the band.
That's right.
So this was a song written by Tom and Alana, and they would go on to have many albums, as you all know, as an actual duo.
Yes.
Some might think they were twins, but they really weren't.
No, really, they weren't.
And unfortunately, this was also the first time that I saw a chink in the armor of my beloved Thompson Twins.
Oh, no.
Now, Revolution was not released as a single here in the U.S.
Okay.
And I knew that it had been released in the U.K., but I had no visibility of it. And I didn't know that it failed to hit the top 40.
Oh.
I didn't know that the song was not a big hit like Lay Your Hands on Me and King for a Day. At least here in the U.S., those were big hits.
Yeah.
So this was the first time I saw the band fail to chart since I discovered them in 1984.
Oh, boy.
Very unhappy about that. And unfortunately, I had to get used to it because this song would peak at number 57, I believe. 54.
Yes, 54. That's what I have as well.
And they would only have one song that would do better. Oh, no, that's not true. They would have 2. But they would never again hit like the top 20.
Yeah.
Get That Love was in the top 40. It didn't get any higher than 30. I think it was 34.
Okay.
And then Sugar Daddy, I think, made like the
39,
outer reaches of the top
maybe?
40, but really didn't go. So, they were not a top 10 band anymore. And their first singles would do okay. And then any follow-ups were just dead on arrival.
Yeah.
So I was sad at this point.
The Imperial phase was over.
Yes. And man, it was heartbreaking because I was so obsessed with this band.
I know.
But I think this is a wonderful track. What do you think about this song?
Yeah. I think this is a really good song. I really like it. But wow, what a change in sound from the album we've been discussing
Oh my God,
these many months,
If you listen to this song compared to what we've been talking about in these episodes, you may not even think it's the same band.
Other than Tom's vocals, this hardly sounds like the same group. I really got to say that. So much has changed in those 3 years. You hear some hints of xylophone or marimba in here. Very light touches of that. Obviously not nearly as much in the early years. And oh, by the way, there are guitars.
There are a lot of guitars in this one.
Apparently, guitars are now appropriate again.
Yeah,
3 years later.
Tom, do you remember when you said this?
I think if you look at music in general, it has to be said that, whether you like it or not, the guitar is becoming less and less appropriate, and the synth is becoming more and more appropriate.
What happened?
Tom.
This song has a rock and roll guitar solo in the middle of
It
it.
absolutely does. And in the video, Tom's got a guitar strapped on him the whole time, and Alana has a bass, right?
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, they're both guitar laden.
Oh, boy.
What is going on?
What does the world come to?
I don't know. I guess they'd done everything they could possibly do with synths at this point, and they thought they'd go backwards again.
Now, this was not lost on Billboard magazine, as in their review for the track, they said that Nothing in Common was more rock than previous singles. And that's not untrue, as we have just mentioned.
Right.
I remember at the time, well, not at the time, but shortly after this, there was a rock and roll magazine. I can't remember which it was. It was like, I don't know, Circus. There were all these like heavy metal magazines.
Yeah.
And I never really cared about them. But for some reason, I saw that one of them, whichever one it was, I don't know, but they reviewed the next album, Close to the Bone.
Really?
Yeah. And they said something about how they long suspected that the Thompson Twins' Tom Bailey had it in him to be a rock and roller. And that the closing track on Close to the Bone, Perfect Day, was his first step into that direction to become that rock and roller that he had long since wanted to be. And I remember being appalled by that
I bet
idea.
you were fired up.
What the heck are they talking about? Tom doesn't want to be a rock and roller.
Oh my gosh. You should know, right? Oh my goodness.
So yeah, we got those guitars, and we also have, I think you'll agree, this is probably the most basic drum and percussion track that has ever appeared on a Thompson Twins song.
I would probably agree. Yeah. It's nothing like anything on this album that we've been discussing.
Yeah, this is a standard 4/4 time rock pop song.
Yeah.
We get some synths in here, but instead of like the quirky synths with cool riffs, they're just like synth pads, just playing like a sustained chord.
Right. I made fun of it, the stuff, but it is a really good pop song. I mean, Tom Bailey is such an awesome songwriter. And he knows what is going to sound good, and he knows what people are going to like, although they didn't like it as much as they should have.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is still a very well put together song. It sounds very catchy and just how you would want it to sound, right?
Well,
For its time.
At the time, it probably didn't sound like what I wanted it to sound like.
True.
However, I still loved it.
Okay.
I loved it for what it was. I think it is a worthy song to follow up what has come before it. This is just a band. I think I said this before. This is a band where no two albums sound the same.
Right.
Like they're constantly changing their sound.
Yes.
I don't know if that hurt them or helped them, but you listen to Big Trash, it sounds totally different than this album that we talked about today, which sounds totally different than Close to the Bone.
Yeah. They just really, I think what it is, they evolved very, very quickly.
Yep.
And they evolved and then they kind of just fizzled out because they evolved so much. They were like, where else can we go? We're done.
But it features a really, really catchy chorus and a truly nice bridge. Middle 8 there in the section. Oh, there are times I wanted to shake you, break you, bring you to your knees. I love that part. I love it so much. I might be using it in the music
I was
league.
just thinking, hey, there you go. There's your song for Music League.
So I think that this is great songwriting and that Tom and Alana were robbed when it came to the chart performance. It did break the top 40 on the dance chart. I like to think that me buying that 12-inch is what put it over the edge.
Oh, yeah.
It peaked at number 38.
Oh, boy. Not like number 1, but hey, it's there. Did you watch the video?
I did watch the video. I don't need to watch the video because as I watched it, I knew everything that was going to happen.
Oh, really?
I watched this video hundreds of times.
Oh,
at the
wow.
time. I recorded it onto a VHS cassette, and this was something that I just watched over.
Oh, my goodness.
So I was watching that, and I was like, well, this is going to be next. This is next.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, I don't know that I must have seen it at least once or twice before, but certainly not to the degree you had.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a very typical movie soundtrack video from the time. It's got clips of the band performing interspersed with clips of the movie. There's like 2 clever things that they do at the beginning where Tom and Alana are standing outside on the top of the building, and it looks like Tom Hanks is standing in between them.
Is he not really?
I don't know.
I assume that because then they all turn around and walk to the Jeep together.
Oh, okay.
I assume that they were.
I just thought it was some kind of camera trick.
I mean, Tom Hanks wasn't Tom Hanks at the time.
No,
he wasn't. The
no,
huge
but it
star
wasn't
that he is
always
today.
that common to have the actual actors in
Right.
the
It was
videos.
not, but it was always really, really cool when they did it, like Queen,
Oh,
Princess
yeah.
of the Universe.
Well, sure.
You get Christopher Lambert
Yeah.
in there for like 5 seconds.
And that's the same year, isn't it? How about that?
Yeah, it is.
1986. And then they also have Tom Hanks playing drums.
Yeah, just for that, like
like
that
1
scene.
second. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So that was kind of cute. And Alana has eyebrows.
She does have eyebrows, which is probably part of the reason why I watch this one so much because
You can't actually watch it
I can
without
watch
being
it, yeah.
uncomfortable.
yeah, her lack of eyebrows made me uncomfortable,
Yeah.
much like the David Bowie Blu-ray that I bought last week.
Yeah.
And now suddenly she has eyebrows, and I am like, oh, she's very pretty. Like I was won over by Alana Curry. And I started to think that, maybe I would ask her out on a date if I ever got a chance.
Oh,
at the
yeah?
time. I never did get the chance.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I really enjoyed that. Something else. Oh, another thing that I used to love about that video
Yeah.
is when it goes, "We'll be boys until we die, die."
And
they
Jackie
remixed
Gleason. Jackie Gleason leaving
walking through the door.
Yeah, they do.
I thought that was great.
Yeah. Did you ever see the movie?
I saw the movie once.
Oh, did you?
I don't remember anything about it.
Okay.
I remember that Jackie Gleason had diabetes. And there
Yes.
was a scene where he goes into diabetic shock or something
Okay.
like that. But that's the only thing I remember.
Yeah, I didn't actually ever see the movie. I read about it on Wikipedia. I just wondered if you'd seen it.
We should watch it again. We should see if
we
it's
should
on.
watch it for me, maybe the first time.
See it again for the first time,
Yeah.
Sarah.
Okay.
One great thing about this video in the year 2023 is that in the time since we've started this retrospective of the Thompson Twins, that Thompson Twins official YouTube account
Yeah.
uploaded that video. When we started doing this, it wasn't on their account.
Oh.
And I looked for it. I watch it on YouTube every couple months.
Yeah.
And there was just like one person who had it, and it was a very low res copy. But I would watch it because he was the only person that had it.
Okay.
So when I went to find it today, it came up Thompson Twins Vivo.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God, they have it now. And I looked and it was uploaded 2 months ago.
Okay.
So,
well, isn't it good that we took this long?
It is. That's actually why I dragged my feet so much.
Yeah. It was all your letter writing campaign to the Thompson Twins YouTube channel.
Yep.
Okay.
So, like I said, I used to
right.
watch it all the time with my little copy from Friday Night Videos, and it's great to have it out there. The Thompson Twins, I think, in the time since we've talked about them, I think they've taken a lot of things off, and now they're starting to put things back.
Yeah. Right.
Maybe I should save this before it goes away.
Okay. It did happen like soon after we started talking about this album that a lot of the videos that we had just finished discussing, then they were pulled.
Yeah.
And then we were like, oh my gosh. So we got out there just in time and then they went away. But you think they're coming back again?
Well, I don't know. They've done something at least in the last 2 months. You know, our show notes for the early episodes for this series might be a little out of date still.
Yeah.
But I'm too lazy to check it.
What can we do? So. It's out of our hands.
So that's our extra credit. Thompson Twins, Nothing in Common. Great tune. Check it out if it's one you don't really remember. See what you think.
Yeah.
And we also have our last installment of Thompson Twins Memories. This is a great one. It's a great one because the person who called, Ian Monk, he has a lot of good things to say about the Thompson Twins, and he has a lot of good things to say about us, Sarah.
Aww.
Which I think is always fantastic.
Well, it's very humbling, and we thank him very much.
So we're going to play this Thompson Twins memory, and then we'll come back and respond to anything that we might need to respond to.
Okay.
Brian, Sarah, it's Ian from the UK. Just wanted to share with you some Thompson Twins memories. Back in 1983-84, I was obsessed with Depeche Mode, and my brother was obsessed with the Thompson Twins. My poor parents, I can just imagine, I was playing the first 4 Depeche albums constantly on loop, and my brother was playing the 3 Thompson Twins. I loved the Thompson Twins, but because my brother was obsessed by them, obviously I played it down a little bit. But I was lucky enough to go see them at the much-missed Birmingham Odeon, a venue about a 2,000-seater where all the bands, Depeche, Ultravox, Yazoo, OMD, you name it, they played there, and it was amazing. And I'm pretty sure, if memory serves, that Black supported them as well before they hit it relatively big. I look back at this album now, and it's everything that we loved about the 80s. The sound of it, you mentioned that bass line, the Oberheim that runs through it. I just think it's absolutely amazing. I saw Tom Bailey also live back in 2019, a triple bill, China Crisis, Tom Bailey, and then Aha. Tom Bailey, by far, was the best sounding concert I have heard for years and years. Totally electronic drums and synth, and he just put the other bands to shame. It was the first time I've seen Aha where I actually thought Morton was just going through the motions and didn't really want to be there. Anyway, so amazing, loving the fact that 40 years later we're still talking about it. And I've said this before about you two in reviews. You keep doing what you're doing. People like me absolutely love the detail that you two go into. Where you do your research from just amazes me, and what you have is a special, special thing. So thank you. Love it when a new episode drops. I wish they dropped a bit more. Hopefully we can get the Quick Step and Sidekick finished before it reaches its 50th anniversary, but appreciate the work that goes into it, and it's not just something that you can knock out in 5 minutes. So thank you both. Take care.
He's so dry with it. Like, you know, sometimes you can hear the laughter in someone's voice when they're saying it, but no,
deadpan.
That was deadpan.
Yeah. It was great. Wonderful little backhanded compliment there.
Yeah, it totally takes you by surprise because our heads were inflating from all the other nice compliments we were receiving. And then, hey, where did that come from? Where did that knife in the back come from?
It's well deserved. And I'll be honest, when you played that for me, of course, before we were working on this last episode, and his comments are one of the reasons that I worked so hard to find that Judy Garland sample and find that reference, because I'm like, he says we do hard research, we do a lot. I'm like, yes, we do, and I'm going to prove it to you. Here, look. So yeah,
that's cool, because I actually did notice that you were focused like a laser on that, and I seriously said to myself, like, wow, she really is spending a lot of time trying to back up this claim.
I wanted to get it right. Yes. Yeah. It was, I guess, the journalism major in me, and the praise from Ian. Like, he's like, oh yes, you do such good research. I'm like, yes, I want to prove to you I do.
Ian, thank you so much for taking the time to call in with that, and for your kind comments.
Absolutely.
Sharing
wonderful.
your memories. Just think of his parents driving him and his brother places, just on a loop listening to We Are Detective and What's Your Name?
Yeah. I'll tell you, I wouldn't mind being in that car. That would have been great. His parents probably would have been going mad.
And there was a point in there where he took me by surprise, because he says, like, looking back now 40 years on, and the way he phrases it, the first time I heard it, I thought he was going to say the album doesn't live up to, like, the love that I heaped on it when I was a kid. So I was so glad when he said, it is everything the 80s were about, that bass. And he said, like, I love the sound of it. Yeah. I was so glad when he said that, because I didn't see that coming. I thought there was going to be a twist, a 180.
Oh, good.
So I love that.
Yeah.
And I sort of know what he's talking about when he says about the first time he saw Aha, where Morton didn't seem to want to be there. Like, Morton's stage presence has become very standoffish with like very little interaction
Yeah.
with the audience. I was thinking that when we saw them last year in
Yeah.
New York City.
You're right.
Mags is the front man
He
in
is.
terms of interacting with the audience.
Yes. Yes, I would agree.
I sort of understand where he's coming from. I'm not going to badmouth Morton Harkett because
He
just
has-
love him too much.
Yeah. His voice and his looks.
But I do understand why you would say that.
Yeah,
So, and thank you very much for the kind words about the show.
absolutely.
I wish that the show could come out more often. I think maybe some of that is just because it's the summer.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that when we get into the fall time here, September and October, we'll pick up the pace a little bit.
Yes, I agree. When the weather's nicer, there are just more things that you can do and that you have to do outdoors, right? Things like mowing the yard and
Don't remind me.
I know, but it's true, right? And once we get stuck inside, we have more time to focus on stuff like this.
And yeah, we will do that. So thank you so much, Ian. We really appreciate it. And thanks, like you said, you've said things like that before in reviews. I know that you've been supporting us for quite some time now, and it's very much appreciated. Thank you so much.
It is.
All right, so we are going to pass judgment on this album. People probably don't know, can't see where this is going to go. Probably don't know if I'm going to love it.
Yeah, it's a big question.
So do you want to lead this off or do you want me to?
Well, I don't know. Should we go with the unknown or the known? Who's more the unknown in this case, me or you?
You're like a cipher. Nobody ever knows where you're
Oh,
going to go.
I know. Sometimes I don't even know.
You went on this podcast, said that your favorite album is Counter Days. You loved every single song, and then you gave it 38 out of 50. Morton Harkett was blindsided.
Yes, he was.
He didn't know it hit him.
I know. Well, guess what? I'm going to reference that here.
Oh, boy.
Well, just because it's like, let me get started with my final review and rating of this album, Thompson Twins, Quick Step and Sidekick. All right. So as I said way back in the personal history section of the first episode, this was an album I didn't hear in its entirety until years later. And I think I may have mistakenly said in one of those episodes, I had my notes in here that I gave you credit for giving me a copy of Here's to Future Days, but that wasn't even true. I got that from somebody else. I mentioned that in Into the Gap. Diana Madison copied that for me. So the first Thompson Twins album you copied for me was Close to the Bone. Anyway, I've become much more familiar with this entire album over the years, and especially over this year as we've taken so many months to discuss it, and I have really grown to like it way more than I ever did when I first heard it. That's not to say I didn't like it, but I've just, I've become more familiar with it. I like it more. I think as we all agree, this album was the start of the peak Thompson Twins era, their imperial phase, so to speak. Alex Sadkin definitely had a lot to do with developing that classic Thompson Twins sound. In the previous installment, I went on about how his precision and attention to detail was so impressive to me, and it really does make a difference in the overall product. There are so many songs on this album where those little sonic elements are just perfectly inserted, and they did so much to the overall sound and atmosphere of the song. And of course, you cannot talk about this album or the Thompson Twins without Tom Bailey and his just amazing talent for songwriting and musicianship. It cannot be overlooked. He's simply masterful at writing hooks and catchy riffs. Not only does he do a fantastic job of playing keyboards and guitars, but on this album especially, he's expanding and improving his ability to use his own voice as an instrument. And I think he is surely one of the underrated vocalists of the 1980s.
Hear, hear.
I knew you'd like that part. So how do I feel about Quick Step and Sidekick? Well, I think it's a very strong album. Except for the last two songs. Judy Do, it's never been one of my favorites, although I just said I think I'm appreciating it more as I listen to it. But All Fall Out is just not a very strong album closer to me, and it leaves me kind of disappointed at the end, similar to that sad trombone sound in the song. I even like the more novelty type songs, Watching and We Are Detective, more than these last two songs, because they're just more fun sounding to me. They're silly, but it seems more okay for them to be silly. All Fall Out just doesn't seem like it should sound as silly as it does to me. So where does that leave my rating? Well, I've decided to give this album 42 out of 50 record adapters. And yes, I know that is significantly higher than what I rated Scoundrel Days. I have these notes right here. I'm reading verbatim off my page. Let me just say that I think that rating is probably one of the biggest mistakes I have ever made on this podcast and will probably haunt me forever. Okay, so there you have it. I'm giving this one 42 out of 50. scoundrel days. It was a crime. I'll admit it. I'm guilty.
All right. I have written your 42 in the grade book.
Okay.
I love what you're saying about Tom Bailey and his ability to just write, seemingly at will, a completely catchy pop music chorus. He's the master of it.
He really is.
And he's going to go on to projects like Babel, which are not pop music. Babel was more of a dance.
Yeah, like trance
kinda.
Almost. I don't even know.
It's not concerned with top 40 radio at all. And yet
No.
he's going to hit you with songs like You Kill Me.
Yeah.
I Saw the Sun.
Right.
These songs that Love Has No Name. These songs that just work their way into your
You
brain.
need to look at your shirt and get these titles.
Yeah. What a talented songwriter. Oh my God. And something I don't bring up in my conclusion here that I'll just agree with you on is the importance of Alex Sadkin to this record. I sung his praises, I think, in our last episode.
Oh, yeah.
I was saying how the Twins would go on to work with Nile Rodgers and that I thought Alex Sadkin actually was a better mix with the Thompson Twins than Nile Rodgers, who was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And the next album after Nile Rodgers is going to be Rupert Hine, another amazing producer.
For sure.
And I still think Alex Sadkin was better with the Thompson Twins than him. So, yeah, he is very important to the sound of this record and the success of this record. All right, my final evaluation for the Thompson Twins. So more so than with any album we have discussed on this podcast, I was walloped by a wave of nostalgia as we move through the track listing for Sidekicks. Here at the very end of our final episode, Sarah, I'm going to refer to the album as Sidekicks.
Okay.
That silly U.S. misnomer, which 100% changes the meaning of the title, and I guess is just an indicator that Arista Records believe that we here in America, we lack the intelligence to understand the true title. Quick Step and Sidekick is clever, it's evocative, and goes along with that cover photo so well. So, hey, U.S. record executives, a sidekick and a sidekick couldn't possibly be further apart in meaning. Doesn't work. But regardless, it has been a pleasure to spend so much time with this album over the last few months. It's not like I don't ever hear it, because the singles are often on the radio thanks to First Wave on Sirius XM, and I spin some Thompson Twins on my own accord every month or so. They're one of the bands like Depeche Mode that, I've never gotten away from. But to be hearing it this much and to be focusing my thoughts on songs like we have been doing here, it has been a treat. This is an incredible record. One that never has and never will get the credit it deserves. Unfortunately, the hair, the clothes, the era, the band's contemporaries will forever distract critics from the actual songwriting, which is a shame. But if you were listening to this, then you were probably there at the time, and you know what I'm talking about, and you know the value to be mined from this record. There are no bad songs on this album. There are songs that I like less than others, obviously. However, there is nothing on here whose absence would strengthen the listening experience. There are incredible vocals on this album, singing that firmly cemented me on the musical path I would tread for most of my life. The sound of the music and the technology would become my holy grail as I have spent the rest of my life hunting for more songs that sound exactly like this. So this music puts me in my proverbial happy place, not just due to the nostalgia, but also because it's just so darn good. Looking at the album objectively is probably difficult for me, but I don't think it's impossible. I have called out We Are Detective for being silly and not a great single, even though it cracked the UK top 10, so I'm obviously wrong about that. I discussed Watching as being too unusual and off-putting to achieve success on the radio, which to a certain extent I think did play out on the pop charts, and I have a point there. But that's all okay. Neither of those songs are terrible. They're just not as good. If there's a problem with Sidekicks, it's that the label did a poor job of selecting singles. I don't think this record could have met with the success that its follow-up did, but I think it could have been more successful in establishing the Thompson Twins as a band to watch leading up to the release of Into the Gap with better single selection. Love on Your Side, Judy Do, Love Lies Bleeding, Kamikaze, these are all songs that define my youth and still bring me joy today. They are some of the strongest pop songs of the decade. This is an incredible album by a band who would go on to achieve even more success with their next couple of albums. But for many, this is where it started, when the unwieldy 7-piece band was pruned down to the essential 3. I'm sorry for the 4 who had to go, but in their absence, something truly great came to be. I'm giving Quick Step and Sidekick 47.5 points. I would give Sidekicks a 47 just to punish the American label. But we reviewed Quick Step and Sidekick, so I'm giving it 47.5.
Oh, wow.
So let me do the math here.
All right. How many record adapters does that total up to?
Oh, I feel sick to my stomach as our totals only come up to 89.5.
Out of 100.
Mm-hmm. The fact that this did not make the top 90 is not sitting well with me, Sarah.
Uh-oh.
Although I guess if you round up, it did 90%.
Yeah.
So final score for Quick Step and Sidekick by the Thompson Twins is 89.5%.
Okay.
Or 89.5 record adapters, I'm sorry. So we hope you enjoyed our discussion of the record.
Yes.
Let us know what you think, what you would have scored the album. We're going to have a number of posts sharing this episode on Facebook, Twitter, Threads, and Instagram. So you can chime in at any of those and let us know what we did wrong and what the scores should be. Can't wait to hear what you think about it. I'm hoping you give it a score closer to mine than Sarah's.
Well, as disappointed as you were with this total, I think you were even more so disappointed with Scoundrel Days.
I was more disappointed with this because this one was just disappointing. Scoundrel Days was disappointing and hilarious because it just came out of nowhere and made no sense.
Okay.
So I really did enjoy that episode. I thought that was
all right.
blast.
Well, good. I'm glad there was some entertainment value there. This one, you're just like shaking your head.
Yeah. All right. So that is the end of our discussion of the Thompson Twins.
Wow.
Coming
Finally.
up next, Sarah, I would like to do one of these things. I'm going to leave it up to you.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I either want to talk about Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me by The Cure and endeavor to get it done by the end of the year.
Oh, good heavens.
17 songs.
Uh-huh.
We have to finish it by Christmas.
Wow.
Or your second choice.
Yeah.
Something that I've been putting off for years.
Yes.
I would like to talk about Erasure Chorus.
Oh, yeah.
But I've been putting it off because we need to talk to Andrew Dineley
Yes.
to get him involved.
Right.
Now, here's the thing. Andrew Dineley knows somebody who worked on the graphic design of this CD.
Yes.
We need to ask Andrew, does he have the time to talk with us, to go track by track like we've always done with him?
Yeah.
Would he like to join us for just the design, the story of the design?
Yeah.
And maybe he could talk to his friend, get some information, and share it with us? We'd have to find out what he's interested in doing.
Yep.
And then we would have to arrange that.
Yes. Well, I can't answer you right now.
No, you can't, but I'm letting you know that's what I would like to do.
Okay.
One of those two.
All right.
So, folks, if I have my way, we'll either be coming back in the next few weeks with something about The Cure or something about Erasure.
Okay.
In the meantime, instead of looking to the future, you can look to the past by visiting our website, www.permanentrecordpodcast.com, where you can find our vast catalog of Season 1 episodes, all 161 main episodes, 6 James Bond episodes, 6 concert memory episodes, and 1 or 2 just kind of weird things thrown in the middle there. But that's the entire first season is available at your fingertips. Knock yourself out and enjoy that.
This declaration of the first season is throwing me for a loop, and it's delighting me. That's a wonderful idea. 161 episodes in a season. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's almost like Teen Titans Go.
There you go.
All right. Well, of course, if you like or hate us, we prefer if you like us.
Who could hate us, Sarah?
I know. Who would hate us? But no matter what, tell us what you think about the show by leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts. That would be really, really wonderful. Even if it's just a star rating, we'll take that. We appreciate those too, but we really, really like when you leave us a written review because we will read it on the air. And thank you profusely.
We definitely will. It's very appreciated. We haven't had a review for many months. Oddly enough, last week we were on vacation.
Oh, yeah.
At a place called Emerald Isle, North Carolina.
Yes.
And that same week, we were in the top 10 music podcasts in Ireland.
Yeah.
So normally it's like reviews that help get you seen, and then we kind of stumble our way into the top 100 in different countries. So I don't know what it was that people were downloading us in Ireland. Maybe it's because they heard we were in Emerald Isle.
I'm not really sure, but it was awesome.
Yep. It's always awesome when you guys take the time to leave a review for the show. We really appreciate it. So if you have time on your hands and you have good feelings for us, please go ahead and do that. You can also leave us a voicemail. We had a lot of people at the end of the day. I was complaining a little bit early on because it didn't seem like we were getting a good reaction, but we got a good number of Thompson Twins reviews.
Yeah, we did.
Thompson Twins personal memories
right.
on this retrospective. So it's always great when you guys call and give us something to play on the show other than our two voices, which surely you must be sick of by now. But you can reach us very easily in the U.S. just by calling 724-490-8324. And something I found out recently is that you can also text us at that number.
Okay.
So if you ever wanted to have Brian and Sarah at your disposal to just text and see what we were up to at the time, you can text us at that number.
You up?
I'll get it on my phone. So feel free to do that. Or you can also send us a voicemail at speakpipe.com/permrecordpod. And that's how Ian reached out to us tonight. Sounded great.
It did.
In my opinion. So I think that's a great website.
Yeah, that's really a good one for anyone all over the world.
Oh, are you referencing the ELO song that we heard earlier this evening on the radio?
Yeah, it kind of was.
All right, so we're going to get going.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us for the Thompson Twins. We'll see you next time.
For something different.
Cure or Erasure, or maybe not. Maybe it would be something totally different. But that's my ideas. We'll see how Sarah does with her follow-through and where we end up going.
Oh, wow. It's on me, is it?
It is.
All right. Wish me luck, folks.